So we're still talking about systems of equations, and we're not changing anything that we did, like solving it by elimination or substitution. We're not learning a new way to solve it. All we're doing is taking it in word form now, like in a word problem, and then writing out the equations, okay? So the steps to doing this, first we're going to label our variables. Our variables are going to be the two things that we're talking about, whatever two things we're talking about. We're going to write two equations, and then we're going to use either elimination or substitution to solve for the variable. And then we'll plug in, okay? So let's look at number 1. Number 1 says, last week at the movie theater, it cost $2 for a movie ticket. And there was a special price of $3 for popcorn/drink combo. So those are our two things we're talking about. We're talking about a movie ticket, and we're talking about popcorn drink combo. Okay? It says the theater collected a total of $504 last week. This week at the movie theater, it cost $2 for a movie ticket, and it cost $5 for a popcorn/drink combo. The theater collected a total of $608 this week. How many movie tickets were sold, and how many popcorn/drink combos? Okay? So the way that we are going to find the answer of how many of each were sold is by solving the system of equations, okay? So let's talk about writing the systems of equations. We see that movie ticket shows up twice. The first time the movie ticket's $2. The second time, how much is it? $2, okay? And then the other thing was $3 for a popcorn drink combo. The next time it's $5, okay? So we want to make variables. What variable do you want to use for movie ticket? X. Okay, so that means that our popcorn/drink combo would be, what do you want it to be? Y? Okay, so week 1, how much was a movie ticket? $2. So it would be 2x plus, how much did it cost for me to get popcorn and a drink? So $3, okay? Then it says it collected a total of $504. So all the movie tickets plus all the popcorn bought was $504, okay? Now, the next week, it was how much for a movie ticket? $2. Plus, how much for the popcorn? $5. And how much did they make off movie tickets and popcorn? $608. Okay, so now we have our two equations. Now we just want to either solve these by substitution or elimination. Which one do y'all think would be better? I think elimination, because see how my x's are lined up, my y's are lined up, my numbers are lined up, and in elimination, what do we look for? The substitution. Same number, different sign. Okay? So do we have same number, opposite sign? No. Do we have same number? Yes. Okay? So our x's both have a 2. Now, how can I make one of them have an opposite sign? Multiply it by -1. So does it matter if I multiply the first or the last? No. Which one do you want to do? Top. So we're going to take the top. We're going to multiply it by a -1. So -1 times 2x. Remember, multiplying by a -1 only changes every sign. So it's going to be -2x minus 3y equals -504. So see how we changed everything from positive to negative? Okay, from there, we can now add. So we're going to add these two equations together. What happens to my x's? They cancel. What is 5 plus a negative 3? 2y equals, what is 608 plus a negative 504? 104. Then we divide by 2 to get y by itself, and y equals 52. Okay, so how many tickets were sold? Nope. We don't know yet, right? Because tickets are X. But we know that 52 drink and popcorn combos were sold. How would we find how many tickets were sold? You plug it back in. Does it matter which one we plug back into?
Yes.
You have to use the original. Very good. So do we want to use this green original or this blue original? Green. So we're going to do 2x plus 3y equals 504. What letter am I plugging in 52 for? Y. So I'm literally going to rewrite this as 2x plus 3, and then instead of y, I'm going to put 52 equals 504. Okay? So I'm going to multiply 3 times 52. 156 equals 504. Okay? Then we're going to subtract 156 from both sides. That gives me 2x equals, what is 504 minus 156? If you do not have a calculator on your desk, I suggest you get one. What is it? 348. Okay. Then we take that and we divide by 2. Okay. And so what is 348 divided by 2? 174. So x equals 174. So the answer to our question, how many movie tickets were sold and how many popcorn drink combos were sold? We sold 174 tickets and we sold 52 popcorn drink combos. Does that make sense? Okay, so the only thing that we're doing different is we're setting it up from a sentence. How hard is setting it up from the sentence? Very hard? Okay. I don't think it's very hard, so let's do some more examples and see. Okay, so number 2 says, Amy likes to use Los Compadres to cater parties. Last week, she threw a party where she ordered 5 burrito platters and 5 taco platters. Okay, so what 2 things are we looking at? Burritos and tacos. Okay? So what do you want to let burritos be? X. What about tacos? Tacos we're going to let be Y. Okay. So it says the first week she spent $280. Now it says this week she ordered 1 burrito platter and 5 taco platters, and she spent $184. Okay? So all you do is take all the information for the first week, lump it together, and then take all the information for the second week and lump it together. So the first week, how many burrito platters did she buy? 5. So it would be 5x plus, how many taco platters did she? So 5y equals, how much did she spend? 280. Okay? Same thing for the second. The second week she ordered how many burrito platters? So it would be x plus 5y. Very good. And how much did she spend? 184. Good. Okay, so would we rather solve this by elimination or substitution? Substitution. Okay, so in order to substitute, I need to get something all by itself, right? So what letter do we want to get all by itself? You want to get this all by itself? Yes. You do not have to do substitution. You could do elimination if you wanted. Either way would work. Okay? So do we want to do substitution? You sure? Okay. Well, let's go back to elimination then. Unless you're told you have to use a specific thing, you don't have to use one over the other. Okay? So, all right. If we want to do elimination, do we want to make our x's or our y's the same? Y's? Okay, so what do I need to do to make them same number, opposite sign? Okay, which one, top or bottom equation, do you want to multiply by a -1? The top. Okay, so we're going to multiply everything by -1, which is going to change each sign. So instead of a positive 5x, we get -5x minus 5y equals a -280. Okay, so do my y's match now? Yes, they are same number, opposite sign, so what happens to them? They cancel. What is x plus a -5x? What number is technically in front of this x? 1. So it would be -4x equals, what is 184 minus 280? -96. Okay, and how do I get x by itself? Divide by a -4. Okay, so x would equal, what? 24. So is that burritos or tacos? Burritos. Okay, so the burritos cost $24. Or the burrito platter costs $24. Okay? Now, what am I going to do with x? I'm going to plug it back into the original. So do we want to use the orange original or the red original? The orange. So we're going to do 5x plus 5y equals 280. And am I putting 24 in for x or y? X. So it would be 5 times 24 plus 5y equals 280. Okay? So I need to multiply 5 times 24. That gives me 120 plus 5y equals 280. Now we're trying to get y by itself. So we would want to subtract 120 from both sides. This gives me 5y equals 160. Is that right? All right, and then we divide by 5, and y equals 32. So how much does a taco platter cost? $32. Okay, is this getting better? Getting easier? Okay. Let's try number 3. Okay, so number 3 says, Jacob rode the Ferris wheel 3 times and rode the roller coaster 3 times. So what 2 things are we looking at? Ferris wheel and the roller coaster. So let's go ahead and do those variables. What do you want the Ferris wheel to be? Okay, so Ferris wheel is x. and roller coaster is y. Okay, so let's continue reading. It tells me that he spent a total of $18 at the fair the first time. The second time he spent a total of $15. Okay, so they want to know how much does it cost to ride the Ferris wheel and how much does it cost to ride the roller coaster. So let's write out our equations for this. How many times did he ride the Ferris wheel the first time? So it would be 3x plus, how many times did he ride the roller coaster? 3y equals, and it cost him how much? 18. The second time he rode the Ferris wheel 3 times, so that would be 3x, plus he only rode the roller coaster 2 times, and it cost him $15. Okay, so I say we still stick with elimination. Are y'all with me? Okay, would it be easier to make our x's the same number opposite sign or our y's the same number opposite sign? X's, because they're already same number, now we just need to make them opposite signs. So I assume you want to multiply the top one by a -1. Okay, so it's going to change every sign. So it's going to become -3x minus 3y equals -18. Okay, so what cancels out now? The x's. So I get 2 plus a -3. What is 2 plus a -3? -1y. Okay, and then I have 15 plus a -18. -3. Very good. Okay, and so to get y by itself, we divide by a -1, and y equals 3. Okay, so the roller coaster cost how many dollars? 3. Okay, now let's find the Ferris wheel. How would I find how much the Ferris wheel cost? Plug in 3. Okay, top or bottom? Top. So we're going to do 3x plus 3y equals 18. Am I putting 3 in for y or x? Y. So it would be 3x plus 3, parentheses, times 3 equals 18. Okay, bring down your 3x. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, if we want to solve for x, we would first subtract 9 from both sides. This gives me 3x equals 9. We divide by 3, and so how much does the Ferris wheel cost? $3. Okay, do we want more examples of this? Okay, then let's talk about which way we're supposed to use, like when to use elimination versus when it's easier to use substitution. So if you will flip to your other worksheet. Here we go. Okay, looking at number 1, we may not go through and solve all of these, but I do want to talk about which way we would solve them. So in number 1, do you think, hold on, let's write what elimination is, and then let's write what substitution is. So elimination, what are we looking for elimination? Same number, opposite sign. Okay, and substitution, what are we looking for? Do y'all know? So isolated variable or variable by itself. Okay, this is going to tell you which one makes it easier to solve. So in number 1, because my x's are lined up, my y's are lined up, my numbers are lined up, and I see that I have two 5s, one of them just isn't the opposite sign, we should conclude that it would be easiest to use elimination on this. Okay? So do we want to solve that one? Okay. So let's take the top one. And I assume that's the one that you want to change to be opposite signs. So we would take the top and we'd multiply it by -1. So that would change each sign. So I'd then have -5x minus 3y equals a -34. Okay. What happens to my 5s? They cancel. And I'm left with 6 plus a -3. What is that? Positive 3y equals, oh, should this be a 34? Should be a 22. Okay, and then 34 plus a -22 is 12. Okay, then we would divide by 3 and y equals 4. Okay, now we need our other variable. So we'd take 4, we'd plug it back into one of the originals. We're going to use the top one. So 5x plus 3y equals 22. Remember, it has to be original, not the one we changed. So this is going to be 5x plus 3 times 4 equals 22. 3 times 4 is 12. I'm going to go ahead and move that 12. So I'm going to subtract 12 from both sides here. That gives me 5x equals 10. And so what does x equal then? 2. Okay, now, I do not leave it like that. How do I write my final answer? Parentheses, 2, 4. We want to write it as a point or an ordered pair. Okay? Okay, in number 2, looking at the setup of this, would it be easier to do elimination or substitution? Substitution. Why is that? Very good. Y is already by itself solved for. So we need to go back over substitution because you will have to use it on your test. We're going to take 6x minus 16, and what letter am I putting that in for? Y. So I'm going to put it in the other equation for y. So I'm going to rewrite this as 8x plus 9. And where y is, I'm going to put a parentheses. I'm going to put equals 42. Okay, so instead of y being right here, I'm going to put 6x minus 16. Okay. Now, what does this 9 outside of this parentheses mean? Distribute. So we're going to take the 9 and we're going to distribute that. So this gives me 8x plus 9 times 6 is 54x minus 9 times 16 is what? 144 equals 42. Okay. Do we have like terms here? What are they? 8x and 54x. So that would give me 62x minus 144 equals 42. I'm trying to get x by itself, so what would I do next? Add 144 to both sides. So that gives me 62x equals 186. Then I would divide by 62, and x equals 33. Just 3. Okay. Okay, now, once I find my x, what do I need to do? Plug it back into the original. I like the top one because y is already by itself, so we're going to use that. Y equals 6x minus 16. I'm going to take 3 and I'm going to put it in for this x. So I get y equals 6 times 3 minus 16. You can actually plug this whole thing right here in your calculator if you want. I know 6 times 3 is 18 minus 16 means that y equals 2. Okay? And so how would we write that as our final answer? An ordered pair. So would it be 2, 3 or 3, 2? 3, 2. Remember, we always go in order of the alphabet. X comes before y in the alphabet, so it comes before it in the ordered pair. Okay? All right, number 3. Look at the format. Elimination or substitution? Which one? Elimination. Why? Same number, opposite sign, right here. Okay? So that's easy to tell. This should be elimination. Okay? So if we already have the same number, opposite sign, doesn't that mean we can just add those together? So that would give us x plus 3x, which is 4x. Okay? What happens to my 2's? They cancel. And what is 8 plus 8? 16. So what does x equal? X equals 4. Okay? Then we plug back in. Let's plug back into the top equation. So we're going to use x plus 2y equals 8. Remember that I'm replacing x with 4, so I'm going to put 4 plus 2y equals 8. Now, what would I move first to get y by itself? I'd move my 4 first by subtracting. This would give me 2y equals 4. I'd divide by 2, and y would equal 2. Okay, and then our final answer would be 4, 2. Perfect. Okay, so from here, let's just go through and talk about elimination or substitution, because I think y'all know how to solve by now. So in number 4, looking at the format, would we do elimination or substitution? We would actually do elimination because we don't have numbers for x and y. That's right, Will. We don't have numbers, but there's not an x on one side by itself and there's not a y on one side by itself. But I do have that a positive and a negative y. So immediately, what happens here? It cancels out. So this makes this a really easy elimination problem. Okay? All right, let's look at the next ones. Okay, so number 5, looking at number 5, the format, would we use substitution or elimination here?
Substitution.
Why substitution? Very good. X is already by itself, so this would be substitution. And remember, we're taking this and we're substituting it in for the variable in the other equation. Okay? What about number 6, substitution or elimination? Do y'all agree with her? I think elimination would be easiest for this one. I would actually, would you make your x's or your y's the same? I would make my y's. Very good. Because we already have opposite signs, so now we just have to make the same number. So what would we have to multiply this one by? By a 3. Very good. Okay, do we have any more questions on this?